All right, what's going on, everybody? I hope this video finds you well. I got a fun topic here for everybody, and this is going to be a big piece relating to swing direction and club path right here. So ways that we can help ourselves in regards to predicting and projecting and even offsetting swing direction issues. So I think one of the things that a lot of people from a content perspective that they're always searching for, one of the magic bullets on YouTube that everybody's looking for, is how can I stop coming over the top? Well, rather than me just telling you how to not come over the top, let's actually go into what I see as one of the biggest causes for players coming over the top right here. Because I think when we fix the action, and we don't just attack the reaction, a lot of the times we have the ability, one, to comprehend it a lot better. And comprehension is what gives us the ability to start building a game plan to better something. So if we go into one of the biggest reasons why I see players who struggle with slicing the golf ball, coming over the top, starting the ball left, adding loft at impact. So basically this type of a player who's going this way, I think there's two really important pieces that we need to make sure that are not actually creating this based on the foundation of how we would set up right here. So one of the things that I would firstly understand, I think everybody on planet Earth, I think this is a great piece of the puzzle just to get through our brains, is understanding what low point is. So what I have right here, I've got this stick on the ground. We're going to call this roughly, we're going to call this our target line. So if we look at what low point is right in here, so low point would be the ball joint of our left shoulder, okay? So right in here. So what I like to do is I'm going to start by placing a stick on the ground right here that I'm going to call low point. And what we'll notice here from a down the line view is low point is also perpendicular to what our target line is. So now we actually have a relationship for how we can set up the body. And so when I'm going into the body, what I mean by that is we have two centers of mass right here. So the spine has the ability to torque and has the ability to twist. Well, when the spine changes, the shoulders will change. When the shoulders change, now the arm directional movements have the ability to shift right here. So I'm going to set the club down for 1 sec, and I'm going to trade this for a couple of alignment sticks. So if we look at where this is right here, so let's say this is our ball position. So we can see if we angled this off of here, there's where our ball position would be. We would be catching this on the inside arc before this returns to low point. So again, another way that I refer to and what I would call low point is I would call that our zero line. Okay, so from here now, if we take the center of our hips, okay, the center of our hips, or we could call it our belt buckle right here, and we take the center of our chest. So from right in here, where I see players get in trouble is either A, they have both of these centers pointed forward. So if I have these pointed forward and they're angled left of the golf ball for a right-handed player, what you will notice here is if I drop this line down to the direction that my chest and my spine's pointed, that is creating a line that is moving left of the target line that I have here on the ground. So as I stand in here like this, if I take my two COM, center of mass of the chest and the hips, and these are pointed this direction, which now from a down the line view, this is where we would see the player that has the right arm and the shoulder over top like this. Well, this golf club is now going to want to work on this type of a plane. That is where we have set the center of the spine. That is where the arms are going to want to start moving in relation to the spine, or it is going to cause us to have to try and reroute or change the spine throughout our motion. Not saying that it can't be done, I'm just saying if we're looking at simplistic ways to try and change our swing direction without rebuilding our entire swing, this is a really good place to start. So if you are the player here that struggles with fading the golf ball or slicing it, and we take our center of masses right in here. So if we put this right in my sternum or the center of my chest and my hips, what I would want to see at a minimum is I would want to see these lines right here parallel to what my low point line would be, because if those are parallel right here, that's probably going to mean now parallel to this line would now be matching where my actual direction to the target would be. So I'm presetting myself to at least give myself the ability to swing on a zero plane. Then we can start to use the ball position where we place it in relation to the arc to help us dictate the swing, the actual club path more effectively, and then we would form a face-to-path relationship inside of it, and we could create a right-to-left curvature relatively easy right here. So I think the first thing here is understanding where are these pointed. If we get these to center and we are still starting the golf ball left, my best piece of advice is I would then start pointing them more this direction, point them behind the golf ball. You might see some added pressure shifting to the lead side here, but again, the more that I close these out, and this is extreme right here, we can see that that would start to offset, and that would make the direction that my arms would want to start moving here more into outward. Or for me as a right-handed player, that would make my path move more outward like this, more in a positive direction if we had this on TrackMan. So starting plain and simply with where our centers are can really help us out in regards to where the direction of the club moves. So now, if I keep this piece right in here, so I'm gonna move this right here, so I'm gonna call this right here my low point. So I've got that as a visual. Now I'm going to line up, I'm gonna take this line right here, and I'm gonna set this up parallel to this right here. So if we said that right there, that's parallel. So now I have a visual of where I want to get the center of my body set up. So this would be me hitting a very, very tight draw. So I'm going to set low point up. Generally, it is on the lead heel, in line with the ball joint of the shoulder. Now from here, I can actually take my golf club and I can say, okay, my spine is facing the golf ball now. My spine is not facing in front of the golf ball to where I'd look like this. This club wants to come down steep, and I either have to change the direction of the spine to get it inside, or I just go with it and I swing over the top and we come down steep and probably hit a start left cut as the right-handed player. So I would start in here, gonna line myself up, and what's really important here from a down-the-line camera view, is you can start to see the relationship of my forearms. So you can see my forearms are more neutral. Typically speaking, when we start to see the trail shoulder works this way, when you watch this from down the line, when the trail shoulder works this way, and now we go back to face on, you'll see how the center of my chest starts to move more leftward for the right-handed player. That would be opening the chest, which is now setting an out to inward swing direction. So from down the line, what we want to see here is we want to see the forearms more neutral. If we struggle with fading, we might need to get it a little bit more, put a little bit more pressure here on the lead side, and this will set us up from a direction to swing the club from an inward to an outward path. So I'd be in here. So I can see how that golf ball started more out to the right. It turned over a little bit, and all I had to do there for me, and hopefully for you, is actually change the direction of where the center of mass of the pelvis and where the chest was at setup. So very simple way that we can go into this, and I would say a very key parameter to check and make sure that this is not one of the reasons that you are misstriking the golf ball or starting it a direction that you don't want to. Rather than coming in here and saying, all right, I'm going to keep this right here and I'm going to try and do all of this to get the golf club inside, simply make sure at first we have the center set up here. We might be slightly more to the right like this. And what you'll start to feel is how the club can actually arc back inside, and we can work it back down on that same plane. We can see what the forearms would look like from there, and then we would go. That would be one of the quickest ways that I would be able to say that we could change the swing direction, change the ball flight. Very simple way of doing it. Make sure you give that a go. If you guys have any questions, please leave those in the comments down below. Appreciate you watching. See you next time. I hope you enjoyed this video here. If you haven't, please click that subscribe button. You can also click the bell right there, and that's going to notify you every time that I release a new YouTube video. Also, if you haven't, check out that last video that I did. It's right here, pinned to the screen. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, any comments, please leave those below, and I will make sure I get back to each and every one of you. So, thank you again. Appreciate your support. We'll see you next time.